Rumors are that allegedly it was Gizelle who ultimately set up Robyn to be potentially fired from the Real Housewives of Potomac. How is that? Well, I have some new information that may answer that question and more right after this. What's up, kinfolk, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, do me a favor and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, do me a favor and get notified so you'll know whenever I upload new videos to the channel. Alright, kinfolk, come on into the house. We have a lot to talk about, and it centers around rumors that allegedly it was Gizelle who set up Robyn to be potentially fired from the Real Housewives of Potomac. How so? Well, I have some new information that may answer that question and more, and here it goes. Rumors are that allegedly it was Gizelle and not Robyn who decided Robyn shouldn't discuss Juan cheating in front of the Real Housewives of Potomac cameras. A person close to the situation alleges that Robyn was prepared to talk about Juan cheating on air because she was so sure that Juan's mistress had shown the receipts that she had on Juan to the other ladies. Allegedly, Robyn wanted to get ahead of the ladies finding out, but Gizelle said no. Rumors are that Robyn was completely confused. She thought getting ahead of the story would be a lot less damage. However, Gizelle saw it another way, and Robyn was able to be convinced by Gizelle, one, because she heavily leans on Gizelle for everyday guidance and advice. Allegedly, Robyn can't make an important decision without Gizelle. And two, when Gizelle rallied the other ladies around Robyn, it made it even harder for Robyn to say no. So, the question is, what was Gizelle's alleged evil plan all along that may have cost Robyn her position on Real Housewives of Potomac? Well, allegedly, it was Gizelle's idea for Robyn to keep her one cheating story under wraps so they could reveal it on their podcast for high ratings and for a huge Patreon payday. An insider said, this alleged move was a huge mistake by Robyn and Gizelle. She should have never given Gizelle this much power over her own story. Gizelle could have possibly put Robyn's entire career in jeopardy over her own selfish, greedy needs. Robyn, the source said, really proved why a lot of people on Real Housewives of Atlanta, including the ladies of the show, see Gizelle as Robyn's puppet master and lapdog, ended the source. Another industry insider said, you could hear the nervousness in Robyn's voice during the podcast. She was stuttering over her words and speaking softly, probably knowing that she should have discussed this on the show and not on the podcast. The insider continued, this story was huge and could have made Robyn the center of the entire show this season. However, the fear of having egg on her face in front of the other ladies while she lied on their husbands may have been too much for her to take on. The source continued, this is why many see Gizelle as a fake friend towards Robyn. If Gizelle could come up with a lie to deflect from Juan cheating again on Robyn, then she was more than capable of helping Robyn maintain and maneuver through this scandal in front of the ladies and in front of the Real Housewives of Potomac cameras. However, she should only be thinking now that this mistake was a big miscalculation on both of their parts. And she may also see how this move may at the end of the day only benefited Gizelle and not her own future. Now, kinfolk, when this news broke this week that Robyn knew all along about Juan cheating, and that when it broke on her podcast with Gizelle, and the way in which it broke, and in the way they actually tried to monetize it, I knew nothing good could probably come from it because of this reason. This type of stunt has Gizelle's name all written all over it. Gizelle really does think that she is smarter than the average bear. And the reason why this stunt has Gizelle's name written all over it is because it only self-serves Gizelle and her needs. Because where did Robyn reveal all this information on? Their podcast. She even teased it on social media. We're going to talk about the true story on the podcast. And then even when it's so far to even elaborate behind a paywall. And in knowing that, it's very clear to see that that was a bad move. And I think she knew it going into it, as the source is saying, because when you listen to the audio from the podcast, she seemed very unsure about herself spilling this information on the podcast. Probably like my sources are saying, thinking, my dumb self should have done this on camera. Because at the end of the day, you're telling the world that one cheated on you again. So why not do it on the platform that probably pays you the most? And probably by not doing the platform that you could probably have somewhat control of the narrative to a certain extent, to where people may actually feel sorry for you, but not just now side-eyeing you through this whole ordeal. Now, kinfolk, there's another part of this story that I do find very interesting, and it's very telling why Robyn moved throughout the season the way that she did. And it's this. You can tell that Robyn really pretty much knew what she was doing was wrong. And she pretty much knew the way Gizelle was going about it was wrong. And that's why she felt so bad when the other ladies were putting these false allegations on, when they was putting all these false allegations on Chris. And that's why at the very beginning she came to his defense. And that was a telltale sign that Robyn didn't believe what Gizelle was saying. And then she didn't, of course, agree with which the way Gizelle was going about doing this. Because at the end of the day, this was a big deflection on Robyn's part. But the thing about it was, it really wasn't even Robyn doing the deflecting. It was Gizelle doing the deflecting for Robyn. And I think that was another bad move, because producers on these reality shows, they like to feel as if they have some type of control over their cast. And they like to feel in some ways that they are the ultimate Geppettos in this whole game of reality TV. But seeing how Gizelle has so much power over Robyn and one or two of the other ladies, it may make them feel like that Robyn no longer has a place on this show, because she can no longer be controlled by the ultimate puppet masters. And so with that being said, you can tell how Robyn really showed her hand in this whole situation of trying to deflect away from, one cheating on her yet again. And so, kinfolk, it all goes back to the same thing as what you were saying, as what my sources were saying, that Gizelle comes off as the ultimate puppet master. And if Robyn does lose her her position on the show, she has nobody to thank but Gizelle, because again, this was self-serving on Gizelle's part. Now, kinfolk, also this whole stunt showed another crack in the Real Housewives of Potomac producing powers, and it really showed a fundamental flaw that we thought they had learned from Real Housewives of Atlanta. However, I learned some new information why it seems like they did not or have not learned that lesson. And it's this. The ultimate lesson that a lot of producers on Real Housewives of Atlanta, from my sources, are saying learned when Portia had her last season on the show, is that you can never give one housewife too much control. And for the longest, I thought the Real Housewives of Potomac producers understood that. And for the most part, it seemed like the drama kind of worked organically and it was equitably spread out throughout the ladies. And no one lady was the center of the drama or the center of all attention. Now, there may have been two ladies who were the center of attention in terms of drama throughout the season, but it was never centered around just one lady who just seemed untouchable. And when my sources are saying that, are saying that allegedly the Real Housewives of Potomac producers and the Real Housewives of Atlanta producers did a switcheroo, or some of the producers switched. As we know, some of the producers from Real Housewives of Potomac went down to Atlanta to help produce last season, and what my sources are saying, allegedly this season as well. And some of the producers from Atlanta went to Potomac to help them produce this past season, and probably not this season coming up. So it did, I guess they switched some team members, not all, but some, allegedly, from what my sources are saying. And so that goes to show you how much of that bad influence that the Real Housewives of Atlanta producers had on Potomac. Because this season, they really did center all the drama around one person and then protected that person, which a lot of fans found just completely out of line. And that one person is Gizelle. They center all this conflict around Gizelle by allowing Gizelle to not only be a producing partner, but being the ultimate producing partner. I mean, at this point, Gizelle might as well have her name in the credits. And the fact that they allegedly went out their way to protect Gizelle through all of these lies and all of this drama goes to show you that they have not learned their lesson. And that lesson is you cannot allow one person to run amok like this. They did it with Nene, and you see where they got them. And so, kinfolk, the last part of this information I have here comes from what Carlos King said on his own show that I have to agree with. And it's this. Carlos made some very valid points. Like, these ladies are paid to share their lives with us on television. Now, as Candace said, they do reserve the right to be judicious about what they share. But however, when you're on a reality TV show where being cheated on by your husband seems like the running storyline or narrative across all of the franchises, it seems as if it would not be hard to tell this story, especially when you already told the story once before. And so Carlos made a great point that, this couldn't be him if he was one producer on Real Housewives of Potomac, because Robyn probably would either be demoted or let go. Because at this point, you're playing in producer's face. You already talked about Juan cheating on you again. I mean, for the first time. So when I talk about this second time, you pushed the wedding back almost 3 years. Everyone's already probably speculating something was going on. It doesn't take a person 3 years to plan a wedding. And then you say you want to be a small, intimate wedding. Then it definitely doesn't take people 3 years to plan a small, intimate wedding. So with that being said, the speculation was already there that it was trouble in paradise. So why would you go and play in the producer's face and create these lies? Lies that could very well have tarnished the reputation and the livelihood and professional careers of these men, all to deflect from your own husband cheating on you. And so I think Carlos really does make a very valid point that, this is your job as a reality TV show star. This is why the cameras are in front of you, to see and to view your truth. And also use it as inspiration for other ladies who may be going through the same thing and need encouragement, who may need a blueprint, who may find some solace in knowing that they're not the only ladies going through this. So I have to say, according to my sources, and I have to agree with my sources, Robyn really fumbled the bag, and she also fumbled the ultimate storyline, to where she really could have come out this season feeling vindicated and having a little bit more goodwill going into the reunion and going into next season. However, it appears that she fumbled all of that, being Gizelle's lapdog once again. But kinfolk, I want to know what you guys think. If you are to believe these rumors that this whole plan was, conceived by Gizelle, do you think Gizelle really did backstab Robyn? Do you think she really does come off as a fake friend because a real friend probably would have given her different advice? Or do you say, hey, Robyn's a grown woman capable of making her own decisions, and she should have made her own decision and not listen to Gizelle? So you kind of lay this at her feet. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Alright, kinfolk, as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys over on the next one. Peace.